Now that we have Sahi installed and ready to use, we are going to write a very simple script in this tutorial. Our application under test is a very simple shopping cart application in which you can purchase different kinds of books and add it to your cart. We are going to add some books to our cart and verify whether the grand total was correct or not. We are also going to log in and then log out of this application. To start the recording, I'll launch a browser from my Sahi dashboard. If you receive this page, it means that this browser is launched properly using Sahi. And then I'm going to launch the Sahi controller. You can either launch a controller by clicking this link present on the welcome page, or you can press Alt key and double click on the browser window to open up the controller. Let us call this script training_1.sh, and then I'll press the record button over here. I'll go to my sample application, and you can see that as I clicked on the sample application link, I have this particular statement populated in my Sahi controller, which says _navigate to, and then it provides this URL. As you can see that this is the same URL that is our application present on. And if we go to the recorded steps in the Sahi controller, we can see that this step is recorded in our script. So after providing the script name and clicking on the record button, whatever actions I am going to do on this window, they will all be recorded. So if I provide a username and password, you can see that these actions are being recorded. So if I click the login button, Sahi will be recording this particular click as well. Now that we are into our application, I'll provide some quantities for the books. And let us get the grand total by clicking on the add button. So in a particular testing scenario, you perform some steps and then you have an expected result for your application. So for our application under test, the expected result is that the grand total should come up correctly for the quantities of books that we have added. Now manually I have calculated that for these particular amounts of books, if we get the grand total, it should come to 1800. So I'm going to put an assertion over this grand total whether it is coming up correctly or not. We need to identify grand total so that we can put an assertion to it. To accomplish this, I'll press the control button on my keyboard and hover my mouse over this element to get a handle to this particular element. In Sahi, we call it as an accessor to that element. So an accessor defines what an element will be identified as in Sahi. So right now you can see in the controller that the accessor being populated is _ text box total, which means that Sahi is going to identify this text box as _ text box total. You can see that there is a column for alternatives which shows you different alternatives for the identification of this element. In certain cases, the default accessor that Sahi will be identifying it as may not be the sufficient or the apt accessor for that element in that particular scenario. So in those cases, you might want to go for an alternative identification mechanism. For now, this _ text box total will suffice our needs. So I'm going to put some assertion on this _ text box total. And in order to do that, so I can click on the assert button and Sahi will give me some sample assertions that I can do on this element. So as you can see that there are 3 assertions that are populated in the evaluate expression box, and if you read through them, they say that _assert exists, and if you go through the literal sense of it, you can see that it is going to test for the existence of the text box total. The second assertion is _assert visible, and as you can make the sense out of it that it checks for the visibility of the _ text box total. What we are really interested in is the third statement, which says _assert equal 1800 and then the second parameter as get value _ text box total. So this is the assertion which we are interested in, and I'll select this particular line of code and click on this test button. When I do that, Sahi will evaluate the selected line of code against the window that is open right now and give me the result for this. Now right now this line of code is not appended to my script, because whatever I am going to evaluate in my evaluate expression box, it is not going to be added automatically to my script. So you can see in the recorded steps that we are still at underscore click button add. To add this step to my recorded steps, I need to select this line and then click on this append to script button. And you can see that there is this small feedback which says appended this particular line, and you can go to your recorded steps and you can actually verify that this line was indeed appended to your script. Now I'll click on this logout button and I'll stop the recording. Now we have a script recorded with us which is called training underscore 1.sh, and before I go and modify this script, I'll just like to play it back once using the controller. To do that, I'll go to the playback tab of the controller and I can provide the file name. We can either set a start URL or leave it empty. Since I have a start URL in my script, let me just show it to you. This is the start URL in my script, which is the first step in the script. It will go to this particular URL. So I'm going to leave this out for now. And then I'm going to play it back. You can see that Sahi executed all those steps and gave me a message which says stop playback success. Now if I click on this logs link over here, it will take me to the HTML logs for this particular run. You can see that it just shows all the steps that were executed. The assertions, if they pass, they come in the green color. It also shows you the time taken for each step and some other details about this particular execution. Now if you want to edit this script, you can click on the script editor link over here and it will open the script in the script editor provided with Sahi. So this is our very first script that we just recorded. So I'm going to stop this video right here. In the next video, we'll see how we can refactor this script, make functions out of this, and use it much more effectively. So that's all for now. See you in the next video.